Today we're playing Thanatos and we're going to attempt the Immortal Challenge. Now if you're wondering to yourself what the Immortal Challenge is, it's something I came up with that I want the community to take part in. It's pretty simple. You can play any god in the game, but you must play a 3v3 mode. Now once you're playing this 3v3 mode, you must follow these rules. 1. You cannot be knocked out even once. You must also survive the onslaught of your enemies and come out victorious at the end of the 3v3 battles. Those are the 3 rules to participate in the Immortal Challenge. And yes, I know it is difficult, but if you can survive the onslaught of this impossible challenge, you will come out victorious as the ultimate immortal to stand amongst the gods. Now that is a challenge that I think sounds very exciting for the player base to join up in. Now, if you do, however, participate in this challenge, I would love for you to find a way to send me your video, tag me in your clips, any way possible so I can see it. My goal is pretty simple. I want to collect all the clips as possible so I can create a montage and give as many players who succeed in the Immortal Challenge a shout out so we can all know the great immortals of Divine Knockout. Now, if you are wondering why I'm playing Thanatos, it's pretty simple. I made a 3v3 build guide for Thanatos a couple weeks ago. It's called the Undying build, and let me be honest with you, it is super powerful. That build was given to me by a fellow subscriber, Pickle Rick, and with that build, I've been participating in a lot of 3v3 matches with Thanatos, trying to get accustomed and understand it properly. It has the most sustain in the game and allows for a lot of healing. As well as with Thanatos, if you play very strategically, you can clearly get the advantage over your enemies in any form of the arena. So I thought he would be the perfect choice. And as you can see, I am attempting here with my partners currently Loki and Saul. They have been knocked out a couple times, but I have yet to be stunned out and destroyed. My Immortal Challenge is on its way to victory in my opinion. I'm also using a lot of strategic gameplay. I'm not going in where it's unnecessary. I'm trying to hover around and use my abilities to ensure I land it to either heal me or avoid damage as much as possible. And once I knock people out with this build, I am also healed. So everything I am doing is playing to my peak performance as Thanatos. There have been many games I've played with Thanatos so far where I'm close to 100% vulnerability, and due to my playstyle, I've been able to bring myself straight back down to 0 vulnerability as a fresh character. However, the main issues with every attempt I've done with the Undying build so far is that I've been knocked out at some point. Even if it's 1 or 2 knockouts, I still get knocked out, which immediately cancels my succession into the immortal status. However, there was one matchup I did that I did not even die once, however we did not win the 3v3. So I thought all these rules together come for a massive challenge for the community. Something super hard, even for those pro players to go, oh my gosh, this is difficult. Because I know, even as a good player, if you go up against brand new players, you still get knocked out at least once, whether it's due to the map or a mistake on your part. Another thing to note, this mode right now in 3v3 knockout is very difficult. However, I think this challenge can be even more difficult in 3v3 arcade mode. If it was up, that's obviously the mode I'd be using. So when that comes up for the weekend event, that's what I'm going to be doing, trying to do the Immortal Challenge on the 3v3 arcade mode. Because I believe if you do coin grab or oddball, you're bound to be knocked out at least once or twice, and that guaranteed. Also, winning is even harder in arcade mode. Please bring back arcade mode, the Divine Knockout team. I really want it. As you can see there, everybody's in purple currently on the map. And I'm at 20% vulnerability. I've been dropping my vulnerability easy, and that knocks out the Susano perfectly. Hopefully that knocks out the Ymir, and yes it does. As you can see, I ended off on 1% vulnerability. And if you paid attention to most of this matchup, you will have seen me fluctuate a lot. Every time my vulnerability got higher and higher, I would play even more cautious, ensuring that I land my abilities and trying to knock people out so I can drop it as fast as possible. It seems like the majority of us picked the Sinking Swamp, and I don't blame them. I actually really like this map. Yes, it sinks, but you also have these beautiful pillars that act as a nice line of sight tool when your enemy is trying to hit you, or you can just kite them around in a circle so they're chasing you, giving you time to get your cooldowns out to come up with a counterplay. Now, this map obviously is the best played with King Arthur, simply because his sword is stuck in the stone in the center of it. Oh, sorry, I forgot I started there. As you can see, I used my totters. That could have been very dangerous. I could have been knocked out in that small amount of time. Good thing I caught on very quickly and started to pay attention. Now, obviously, another difficulty to this challenge that can be added on comes from the god you choose to use. The obvious reason, as I've said before, why I'm using Thanatos is simply because of my sustain. I'm able to heal, but that doesn't ensure that I get the Immortal Challenge succession. So with that being said, what characters would be the hardest? Obviously, for me, if I'm playing Hercules, I think that's going to be the hardest. But that could be wrong overall. There could be other gods out there that would be even more difficult to get this challenge completed with. Who do you really think would be the hardest god to play in Divine Knockout for this Immortal Challenge? I'm going with Hercules, as I said earlier, and I don't think it's going to change for me because I just don't see myself being able to do that. That was a beautiful spirit bomb by Sol right there. She knocked out that Athena. One of the things I've learned when going up against Athena, you gotta really wait for that resistance to go down or extra defense so you can just knock her out. She's so tanky at times, it's ridiculous. That's a perfect thing right there. As you can say, I'm staying more or less at no vulnerability, or zero vulnerability, sorry. Sometimes even just under 10%. All that helps protect me. My poor allies, however, are taking a lot of the brunt of the damage while they're being played around with. Somehow my enemies are not focusing me, which I am very grateful for. It's allowed me to get through round 1 anyways, and we were able to come out victorious. She has that resistance up, and I know I can really do anything to knock her out. I do knock her back, but it's not enough, as there's more than enough distance for her to cover and come back in. This gets her here, healing me up again, and now you can see I drop straight back down to 2% vulnerability. So even if I get hit with anything, I do not really have to worry. Once I keep myself below 30 to 40% vulnerability, I'm more or less safe in my opinion. That was a very nice belly slam, and I'm running away but coming in where needed to do some damage. As you can see how I'm using my mobility, I'm literally using it most of the time to escape, especially if I see them all three converging onto me. That little escape I do is something that helps me out so much in surviving most of the modes, as well as using it to just get some air and then letting myself cancel it to come down just enough to hit them with an air light, air heavy. I use my ultimate, and as you clearly can see, I use that Dark Vader choke, bringing me back to 0 vulnerability and getting the knockout on the Ymir. The perfect part there was that because I knocked him out as well, even if I was higher on vulnerability, I would have still went all the way to 0. I feel so comfortable right now. My goal right now is to get out the Athena. She has that resistance up. I'm just waiting. It's going down, knocking her back. It's not enough to get her out as there's more distance to be traveled. Let me see, coming in here, perfect. And this should end the game, giving me the second round victory. And I still have not died. I'm actually feeling really hyped right now. I can't even believe I'm pulling this off. This feels so good. Thank you so much to my teammates, because if they were not taking the brunt of this, I do not know if I would be able to do much. I'm hoping that Spellbound Study might be the better map right now. It might give me the option to not have to worry too much about being knocked out, just because of how it's laid out, and I can use the books to my advantage to hopefully be able to knock out my opponents a little earlier if I keep them there to get their vulnerability higher. Now, could you imagine if somebody sends me a video in a 3v3 mode against players and their whole team succeeds in their Immortal challenge? I think that would be more or less impossible, because that, well, not impossible, because everything is possible, correct? All you gotta do is believe. But getting your whole team to not die once in this 3v3 knockout mode or arcade mode and win and complete this full Immortal challenge is insane. You and your party would have such skill, and I will definitely salute you out. You would deserve the status of immortality. Ooh, okay, so she used her parry there, and I'm trying to knock her back. She's in the deadly purple range. Right now, one of my allies sadly got knocked back, coming in here with some nice light attacks. As you can see, I immediately switched to Susano, and it's pretty simple why I did that. I'm trying to ensure I don't get hit much by my enemies. Now, the good thing is my vulnerability is low. It's getting a little high in my opinion for this challenge, so I'm trying my best. I could have messed up there real bad. If she chose to spike me or was able to spike me, that could have ended me. I knew my mobility was up, sorry, but I'm stuttering a little bit. That kind of caught me off guard, made me feel a little worried. I thought everything was going to go to Vayne right there, because I might actually get a chance to complete it. Now I'm at 40% vulnerability. I do have my ultimate up. I'm at, ooh, no, I need to come back on. I'm going to use my mobility to come up, and I'm going to come down here with my ultimate. Hopefully I grab somebody perfect. It's going to reduce me down to 30% vulnerability, which is good. Now I don't feel as anxious, and we're getting some good knockouts right here. Oof, we got hit by that, but we're still good right now. Backing up just enough and knocking back the Athena. I see them all coming to me. I'm going to have to jump around, trying to avoid as much as possible, and my mobility comes up, which saves me as I go in the sky. Now my allies are coming there to ensure they do some damage. I'm back at 45 simply because I was able to collect that health orb, and as you can see, those beautiful, look at that, the beautiful healing from my ability comes in as I hit all three of them. I feel so strong. I went back to 5% vulnerability. I might be able to pull this off. All we gotta do is knock out 3 more people. Those 2 are in purple. My scythe is coming up. Let me see what I can play off here, getting closer to it. Let me see if I can get this Susuno in the air. No, he does a nice helicopter there, and as I dodged through, he was still able to hit me. Looking to get an interrupt on them right here. Perfect. I come in with an air light. Oh no, he comes in with the beautiful snowball. I'm at 0% vulnerability. There is nothing for me to have to worry about. Poor Loki though. Loki was in a deadly zone. I'm gonna dodge through just to get enough space. I did not dodge it fully, but I was able to not get hit with it twice. Coming in there with the air light. and I was not in range, but I do have my ultimate. If I save it right there, oh, I hit the Athena. That is totally okay. It at least reduces me down to 7% vulnerability, and I feel a little more confident. I should be able to get him out here. Boom, knocking him out of the arena. Just need to get 2 more people out. They're all in purple right now. He's not watching, and I get him out with my sight. I just need to get this Athena out, and that's GG. I'm actually really excited. I might be able to complete it right here. She's at 110. She should get it. Oh my gosh, I just completed the Immortal challenge. I just completed the Immortal challenge. Yes. Whoa. Okay, so this has to be my video right here. GG. Now let me know if you participate in the Immortal challenge and how close you've come, and I'll see you next time. Bye.